They were always on my radar because there's an abundance of information and sort of iconography about them in London, and as folklore history, the Cray twins are as synonymous with crime as sort of Bill Sikes is with Dickensian London, in the real world. But their myths are not dissimilar. There's a lot of fiction about them as well as basic facts like when they went to prison and where they lived, and we all know they loved their mum and stuff like that. But there was sort of national treasure in some aspect on a sort of darker note, as it were, within the criminal infrastructure and historic figures. So I knew of them, and it was just a question of when a film would come up about them, I suppose, for this decade or this generation, and it coming through working title and having been penned by Brian Helgeland was something which automatically made it something that wasn't going to be a salacious, sensational and sort of daft movie about glamorizing criminals and waffle. So it was something that was technically going to be exciting and had been written with somebody who cared about telling stories, and it was a very fertile piece of real estate that came to the door. So definitely something I wanted to do and play both brothers as well. My initial response was if I had to choose one brother, because that's how it was laid out in the first place, I automatically gravitated towards Ron because there was more. It was much more freedom to play with there as a performer. In hindsight, I had to be a bit more careful with Ron because there's a way of lambasting or being cartoonish, or to an extent where you miss the point of the clown effort is not to joke about things, but to create a certain level of humour whereby people laugh along and then don't realise that what they're laughing at is not something that's funny at all. It's incredibly serious. So the balance was something that was specific in experience, like looking back, experiential hindsight-wise. But Reggie was harder to play because he navigates terrain with a veneer which hides his interior landscape. And for the majority of the film, he's portrayed, as a heroic lead in romantic sort of hero, which didn't sit entirely with my understanding of that world. One has to be very careful, I think, when with the balancing out between real people and a movie or a film or a tale based on real people. So it was a tricky terrain to navigate. The due diligence prior preparation and deciding and signing off with Brian how they would look and what differentiate the two guys, silhouette-wise, vocal landscape, physical landscape with costume and makeup and all the effects. And then how technically to shoot them. Once we got through, chewed our way through all of that, which was quite daunting, to be fair, it became a practical application of slow method, and then became really good fun when we committed to doing it. Trying to solve that puzzle on a daily basis to make it more seamless and stuff like that and alive.